Hello friends, welcome to another unit of financial management, that is unit 3. This unit, that is double entry accounting, will help us to understand the meaning and the introduction to double entry accounting system. We will understand the classification of accounts under traditional approach. We will also compare the traditional approach with the modern approach. We will understand accounting trial and meaning and the role of debit and credit. And at last we will understand the accounting equation, right? As what the name says, double entries accounting system. When I say double entry, it means that every entry will have corresponding different entries, right? So double entry system, when I say a transaction, any transaction in a business activity involving transfer of money or money's worth have to be recorded in a double entry system. So double entry bookkeeping systems, every entry will have two sides, that is one side is a debit and the other side is credit. So every account will have one account is the receiver of the benefit and other account is the giver of the benefit. So person one is receiving, the other one is giving. So when person is receiving, it might to be recorded at one side of the books of account and the person who is giving will record in the other side of the account, right? That is what we are talking about, double entry system. So what happens here in this? You must be noting that the amount of the benefit received by one account is always equal to the amount of the benefit given by the other account. It cannot be two different figures. It has to be same, because this enables us to record the true effect of any business transaction. जैसे कि if capital is brought by the owner of the business unit, the owner is the giver of the benefit and the business unit is the receiver of the benefit. मेरी अपनी कंपनी है, मैंने पैसा लाया अपनी कंपनी चलाने के लिए, तो मेरे लिए तो पैसा ये खर्चा हुआ, लेकिन कंपनी के लिए, मेरी अपनी कंपनी जो है उसके लिए ये तो एक इनकम हो गई, उसके लिए ये इनकम हो जाती है, राइट? So therefore every liability is represented by the assets. This is also expressed by every debit as a equivalent credit, right? एक एग्जांपल ले लेते हैं इसे समझने के लिए हम. For example, we shall consider 5 transactions and show that these accounts of the books of business, right? एक पहले transaction लेते हैं. For example, Mr. A brings 1 lakh cash as a capital into business, right? पहला transaction जो है, Mr. A ने 1 लाख रुपया कैश लेकर के आए हैं बिजनेस स्टार्ट करने के लिए. तो what happens? The business receives the capital. इनकम किसके पास हुई है? बिजनेस के लिए इनकम है. So capital is a liability. अब ये जो इनकम है मेरी, ये मैं कैपिटल है, बिजनेसमैन हूं मैंने अगर किसी से पैसा लिया, चाहे वो मैं खुद ही ले करके आऊं, तो मेरे लिए कैपिटल जो है कंपनी के लिए वो लाइबिलिटी होगी. तो कैपिटल को हमेशा लाइबिलिटी में बताएंगे. और एसेट्स क्या हुआ? कैश आया हुआ है मेरे पास, तो एसेट्स कैश हो गया 1 लाख रुपए का, राइट? एक और एग्जांपल ले लेते हैं. इफ आई एम परचेजिंग अ फर्नीचर टू हिज शॉप, इफ आई परचेज अ फर्नीचर फॉर माय ओन शॉप, दैट इज फॉर वर्थ ऑफ 10,000 रुपीज, राइट? सो ये ट्रांजेक्शन को हम कैसे रिलेट करेंगे? देखिए, पहले कैपिटल मैंने 10 लाख रुपए लाया, वो लायबिलिटी था मेरा, करेक्ट? अब मैं फर्नीचर लेकर के आ रहा हूं, तो फर्नीचर मेरे लिए क्या है? कंपनी के लिए एसेट्स है, लायबिलिटी है? एसेट्स है, तो मैं उसे एसेट साइड में बता दूंगा, दैट इज 10,000 रुपीज का, करेक्ट? और मान लीजिए मैंने परचेज किया कोई गुड्स जो 50,000 का मैं खरीद रहा हूं, तो गुड्स इज व्हाट? स्टॉक ऑफ गुड्स, सो इट्स एसेट्स फॉर मी. सो मैं एसेट साइड्स में बताऊंगा उसे 50,000 रुपए की, राइट? दैट्स हाउ आई रिकॉर्ड द ट्रांजैक्शंस. एक और एग्जांपल ले लेते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल हम लेते हैं अभी, he sells a goods for 30,000, that is Mr. A sells a goods for 30,000 and rupees 40,000 in credit to Mr. B. Now what happens? He is selling a goods, so he sold a good worth rupees 30,000 फॉर रुपीज 40,000. गुड्स का वैल्यू जो था 30,000 की गुड्स थी, और उसने बेचा है 40,000 में मिस्टर बी को, तो अब ये ट्रांजैक्शन क्या होगा? $30,000 का माल मैंने 40,000 में बेचा है, तो मैं एंट्री 30,000 की करूंगा या 40,000 में करूंगा? इट्स अ डेटर, जो एसेट्स है मेरा, जो मुझे लेना है मिस्टर बी, उसके नाम पे मैं 40,000 की एंट्री बताऊंगा। और जो मेरा स्टॉक था 50,000 का, उसमें से 30,000 का स्टॉक गया है, तो मेरी एंट्री हो जाएगी 20,000 रुपए के स्टॉक में, राइट? अगला एक ट्रांजैक्शन ले लेते हैं। अब देखिए 30,000 का गुड्स मैंने 40,000 में बेचा है, तो 10,000 का प्रॉफिट है कि नहीं? तो प्रॉफिट मेरे लिए क्या होगा? मेरे लिए एसेट्स नहीं होगा, क्योंकि प्रॉफिट तो डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करना होगा ना, तो ये मेरे लिए लायबिलिटी हो जाएगी, राइट? तो ये जो 1,000 रुपए 40,000 का प्रोडक्ट मैंने 30,000 का प्रोडक्ट 40 में बेचा है, उससे 10,000 जो प्रॉफिट हुआ वो मेरे लिए लायबिलिटी है, जो कैपिटल साइड में बताई जाएगी, राइट? Any question? Let's move further. Now we'll go further for classification of accounts. Now this classification of accounts under the traditional approach. See, the identification of account affects the transaction is a major task. There are primarily 3 types of accounts, जिसे पहले कहते हैं पर्सनल अकाउंट, सेकंड इज रियल अकाउंट एंड थर्ड इज नॉमिनल अकाउंट. एंटायर अकाउंटिंग प्रिंसिपल और अकाउंटिंग एंट्री मूव्स अराउंड दिस 3 अकाउंट्स. ये 3 अकाउंट्स के इर्द गिर्द ही सारी एंट्रियां होती है. तो ये एक बेस है किसी भी डबल एंट्री सिस्टम के लिए. तो आपको ये 3 चीजों के ऊपर बहुत ज्यादा ध्यान देने की जरूरत है, बिकॉज पर्सनल, रियल और नॉमिनल एक ऐसे अकाउंट्स है विच विल हेल्प यू एंटायर फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड. ओके, अब सबसे पहले समझते हैं कि पर्सनल अकाउंट किसे कहते हैं. जैसे कि नेम कहता है पर्सनल, पर्सनल मतलब होता है अपना, मेरा अपना. सो पर्सनल अकाउंट डील्स विद द अकाउंट ऑफ इंडिविजुअल, पर्सन के नाम पे पर्सनल चीजों के लिए डील करता है. लाइक क्रेडिटर्स, डेटर्स, बैंक अकाउंट, आउटस्टैंडिंग और प्रीपेड अकाउंट, ये सारे पर्सनल अकाउंट कहलाते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल आई सेड डेटर्स, क्रेडिटर्स, बैंक अकाउंट, आउटस्टैंडिंग या प्रीपेड, एडवांस पेड, ऑल दिस आर योर पर्सनल अकाउंट. कमिंग टू रियल अकाउंट, it represents various assets accounts, both tangible and intangible. एक assets account जो tangible, जिसे हम टच कर सकते हैं, फील कर सकते हैं, या जिसे टच और फील नहीं कर सकते हैं, जिसे नॉन टेंजिबल कहते हैं, ये सारे रियल अकाउंट में आते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल गुडविल, गुडविल टेंजिबल है, नॉन टेंजिबल है, दिखाई नहीं पड़ती है, इट इज नॉन टेंजिबल, दिस इज रियल अकाउंट. लैंड, लेबर, furniture, capital, sorry, not capital, machinery, building, these are all your real account. Coming to nominal account, it consists of various type of expenses or incomes or loss or profit. For example, nominal account वो account है जो expenses, income या loss or profit टाइप के होते हैं. Those are nominal account. We'll understand in detail about the nominals also. As I said, real account, that is personal account. I said first is personal account. Artificial personal account like Canara Bank account, ICICI Bank account, Bank of India account, right? Outstanding rent account, outstanding salaries account, prepaid rent, outstanding salaries, all these are your personal account. Coming to real account, examples of the real accounts are building account, furniture account, stock account, cash account, right? Patent, goodwill, rights, etc. all are your real account. Nominal account are also known as impersonal accounts, and they are in form of expenses or losses, incomes or gain. They do not really exist in physical form, but behind every nominal account, cash is involved. For example, salaries account is a nominal account. When salary is paid in cash, the cash goes out and there is nothing in physical form. Therefore, salary account is regarded as a nominal account. Similarly, all the expenses and the losses, all incomes and the gains accounts are recorded in the nominal account. Correct? So real, personal, nominal are the very important account. Personal account talks about all personal account, banks account and other things. We talk about the real account. It represents a various real like tangible and intangible accounts like building account, furniture account, stock account, cash account, etc. Goodwill and patent. Nominals are the expenses account, right? Profit and loss account. Coming further, comparison of traditional approach with the comparison of modern approach. Now, before going to this, let me have more detailed discussion on the different types of account. All right. You have heard about something called as liability account. Now when I say liability account, it deals with a financial obligation of the firm of outsider like long-term loan, debenture, bank loan, trade creditor, outstanding expenses, etc. These are all your liabilities account. When I say assets account, are all land account, building account, plant and machinery, goodwill, trademark, patent, etc. Capital account, it's our capital account, drawing, etc. Revenue accounts is nothing but a sales account, royalty received, interest received, dividend received, etc. Expenses account, when I say expenses are purchase account, discount allowed account, interest paid account, loss by fire account, all these are your expenses account. Now we will compare the traditional approach with the modern approach. Now let me explain you first the traditional approach. For example, traditional approach is personal account. We discussed three accounts, that is real, personal and nominal. So we will start with personal account. Under traditional approach of a personal account, all the account other than those relating to the owner having debit balance, okay, and any other thing related having a credit balance, those relating to the owners are the traditional approach. In modern approach, what we say, assets account, liabilities account or capital account. This is in a modern approach we say. Coming to real account, we say in traditional is a real account, however in modern approach say is an assets account. Nominal account is again an example of traditional approach, however in a modern approach we say expenses account or a revenue account. That's what the difference is. Like personal, real and nominal account in traditional approach, modern approach it is assets account, expenses account, revenue account, right? Let's take an example of your understanding on this system. I have an account of particular concern, say Bank of India. What example is that? Personal account. I have to record something which is called as I have a stock account with me. What is this? Correct? It's a real account. I've got a salary account. What is this? Nominal account or real account or personal account? It's an example of nominal account, right? And as I discussed, if I have to compare traditional approach with a modern approach, traditional we talk about real, personal and nominal. The same thing in a modern approach, it is assets account, revenue and the expenses account. Correct? Any problem? Moving further, accounting trial. What is accounting trial? The accounting trial is a sequential order in which the accounting process flows. We discussed in unit 1 also for this. All transactions are recorded first in the book called as journal. The transactions are posted on the respective account, maintain the separate book called as ledger, right? और then हम क्या करते हैं, उस लेजर बुक के अंदर एडजस्टमेंट करते हैं, जैसे ओपनिंग एंट्री, क्लोजिंग एंट्री, एडजस्टमेंट एंट्रीज आर कॉल्ड एज जनरल प्रॉपर लेजर अकाउंट, right? And then from this ledger book we prepare trial balance, trading account, profit and loss account and the balance sheet, correct? So accounting trail is the process of, what is accounting process trail? The first is identify the transactions or the event. पहले आप identify करेंगे transaction को, फिर क्या करेंगे, identify कर लिया transaction तो उसके लिए आप voucher बनाएंगे, एक एंट्री करेंगे वाउचर में, दैट इज प्रिपरेशन ऑफ वाउचर. उस वाउचर को एंट्री देंगे, जर्नल एंट्रीज एंटर करेंगे और फिर उस एंट्री से आप वाउचर बनाते हैं, लेजर बुक में एंट्री करेंगे, फिर लेजर अकाउंट को बैलेंस करेंगे, उसके बाद उसके अंदर एडजस्टमेंट लगाएंगे और फाइनली ट्रायल बैलेंस बनाएंगे, विच हेल्प्स अस फाइनली टू प्रिपेयर द बैलेंस शीट. सो अकाउंटिंग ट्रायल प्रोसेस स्टार्ट्स विथ फर्स्ट identifying the transactions or events, second preparation of voucher, third recording them as a journal entry, fourth preparation of a ledger account, fifth balancing the ledger account, sixth incorporating all adjustment, seventh preparation of trial balance, and eighth is preparing a final statement and balance sheet, right? Can I repeat further? Accounting trial is a process of first identifying a transaction or event. After you have identified transaction or event, what do? You prepare a voucher for this. Once you have prepared a voucher, what do you do? This voucher you record them as a journal entry, right? Once you have entered the journal entries, what do? You prepare a ledger account. Once you have prepared a ledger account, you balance the ledger account from debit and credit, right? And anything loss or difference between both the side has to be incorporated along with the adjustment. You do the adjustment and then you finally, with the help of adjustment, you prepare a trial balance, and trial balance will help you to prepare the balance sheet. So accounting trial is identifying transactions or event, second is preparation of voucher, third is recording them as a journal entry, fourth is preparation of ledger account, fifth is balancing the ledger account, sixth is incorporating all adjustment, seventh is preparation of trial balance, and eighth is preparing final statement and the balance sheet from this transactions, right? We'll move further. That is meaning and the rules of debit and credit, right? You know what is debit and credit? Let's understand. In a traditional approach, we have discussed three types of account: real account, personal account, nominal account. We'll understand what are the rules for this. Once you have identified what type of account is this, like personal account, okay? All bank account and other things, these are all personal accounts. So what is the rule for this? The rule is debit the receiver and credit the giver. Please by heart these things in your mind and make it, understand it properly, so that when you are entering the transaction, you will be knowing where to be entered. So all personal account will be debit the receiver. Whoever is the receiver will be, his account will be debited and the giver's account would be credited, right? Real account, that is patent and other things, goodwills, land, labor, land and building, car, furniture, those are real account. So all real account, debit what comes in and credit what goes out. Debit what comes in, if you have purchased a furniture, you will debit the furniture account, and what goes out is a credit, so you will enter cash into the credit account, right? So debit what comes in, furniture, what goes out, that is your cash. So credit what goes out, the cash would be credited. Coming to nominal account, Nominal account is like salaries account. Debit all expenses. So salary, if you are paid, it is an expenses. So you will debit the expenses. You will debit side, you will mention on the debit side the expenses and losses, and credit all incomes and gain. Anything you receive as income or gain will be always mentioned on credit side. So let's remember the rule. Real account, debit the receiver and credit the giver. Real account, debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Nominal account, debit all expenses and losses and credit all income and gains. Very important rule and very important principle for those three accounts. But before we move further, let's take an example to understand. Let's take one example and understand it's a traditional approach. The example is Mr. Chopra started his business with cash. The first transaction, Mr. Chopra started his business with the cash. So how the transaction under the traditional approach will affect? First we need to understand what type of account is this. He started the business with cash. So what has come? Cash. So now what account is this? Cash account, and the money which comes in is the capital. So cash and the capital account. Two accounts. And what are the nature of this account? Cash account is what? Real account. Capital account is nothing but a personal account. So how it affects? So real account rule says debit what comes in and credit what goes out, right? So what comes in? Cash. So cash has to be debited, right? Nothing has gone out, so cash is coming. Coming to capital account, it's what? Personal account. So personal account says debit the receiver and credit the giver. So who is the giver over here? Receiver is company. Who is the giver? Mr. Subramaniam or Mr. Chopra or Mr. C or Mr. D. In our case, we have taken an example of Mr. Chopra. So here we will say Mr. Chopra is the giver. So his account will be, Mr. Chopra's account will be credited. Now let's understand more by another example. Money borrowed from Mr. Mahesh. You have borrowed a money from Mahesh. So what borrowed means? Money you have purchased or money you have taken on a credit basis. So what is accounts are there? Cash account, or you have purchased, you have taken a cash from Mahesh, that is nothing but a loan account. So loan from Mahesh, two accounts. What is cash? Cash is real account. So real account says debit what comes in and credit what goes out. Here we have come in. So cash is coming in. So cash account would be debited. And loan from Mahesh is a personal account. So personal account principle says debit the receiver and credit the giver. Right? So who is the giver? Mahesh. So Mahesh account would be credited. Let's understand with the help of another example. You have purchased a furniture. So which are two accounts? Once you are purchasing furniture, so you have a furniture and what you pay? Cash. So there are two accounts, furniture account and cash account. Furniture and cash both are real accounts. So what the rule says, debit what comes in and credit what goes out. So what is coming in? Furniture. So furniture account has to be debited, and what is going out? Cash. So cash account to be credited. Right, friend? We'll move further. We'll go now to the accounting equations. Let me explain you what is accounting equation. The preparation of balance sheet is the final step in accounting process. Right? What is the final step in accounting process? Preparation of balance sheet. So the accounting equation indicates that the source of fund should be equal to the use of fund. That means balance sheet के अंदर जो source है पैसे आने का और वो आपके यूसेज से इक्वल होना चाहिए, तभी तो टैली होगा. इन अदर वर्ड, proprietor's equity and liability to outsiders should be equal to the asset side. For example, source of fund is always equal to the application of fund, or owner's equity is always equal to the asset side. Owner equity plus outside liability is always an assets, right? So it always the debit has to be equal to the credit side. That was the equation we are talking about. Every debit has a corresponding effects on the credit. That means it has to be tallied with the debit to be credit. Any question on equity accounting equation? No. Okay. Before we go for the summarization, the last part of this unit, let me once again explain you first. There are three types of account: personal account, real account, and nominal account. The principle for personal account is debit the receiver and credit the giver. Real account, debit what comes in and credit what goes out. Nominal account, debit all expenses and losses and credit all incomes and gain, right? Now what is that? Let's summarize today's learning. We discuss about accounting trial. What is the accounting trial? Accounting trial is the process of identifying transactions, preparing vouchers, recording to them as a journal entries, preparation of ledger account, balancing the ledger account, incorporating all adjustment, preparation of trial balance, and finally preparing financial statement and balance sheet from this. That is what the accounting trial is. Next, what is the meaning of double entry bookkeeping? Double entry bookkeeping is nothing accounting equation, which is every debit will have corresponding credit side, right? Every debit should have an equal or the corresponding credit side. That's what is a double entry system of bookkeeping. Right, friends? Any doubts so far? Thank you, and I'm sure it was a great learning for you. And please do visit to our unit 4, which is secondary books, which is again a very important unit, which is unit 4 at the later stage. And thank you, and wish you all the best and have a very good accounting life. Thank you.